But just to put a number on it, like we know this now because we did a pretty comprehensive kind of analysis of what it costs to deliver Housing First. So all in, the rent supplement and the support with assertive community treatment for each person who receives the service, today it would be probably about $24,000 a year. Okay, so think about it. For $24,000, we can end somebody's chronic homelessness. If it's intensive case management, it's even cheaper. It's probably now about $18,000 because it's not as intensive, the supports. But I mean, these are modest sums of money, and they're offset by some reduction in use of other services. Not, as I said, not all of it, but anyhow.
But certainly some.
Yes. Exactly.
Yeah, and that's not measuring any quality of life pieces, which are
exactly.
Right?
No, exactly. Yeah.
We were doing our research in the city of Kawartha Lake as they were just phasing out the guaranteed income project.
Yeah, they were part of that. They were part of that project.
They were part of that project, and the number of folks that we spoke to who had done so well in the 8 months, so well, and were devastated because they knew they were going to lose the housing again, and it was going to be back into the cycle. And for what? I mean, the amount of money, as you say.
It's so modest. It's so modest.
It's so modest.
I mean, it's interesting with the Housing First. The research we did, and people got these rent supplements. And they had their place, and they had nice places. I mean, they weren't palaces. They were apartments, like 1 bedrooms, and sometimes they were bachelors and so on. But they really liked it, like it was transformative in terms of how they told their story. Because we did a lot of interviews with people, qualitative interviews. But they were still living in poverty, and it was reflected by, this is kind of we hadn't thought of this, when we looked at people in Housing First versus people in treatment as usual, people in Housing First had significantly increased their use of food banks, which you wouldn't have thought of. But the thing was, now they could cook, right? They had a place, they had a kitchen, but they need food. So that, it was my thinking, and a number of us thought we probably really need to bump up. Yeah, there's rent supplements, but we really need to bump up access that people have in terms of just money. Because that in itself is not a solution we've looked at to address homelessness that I think it needs to be examined. A bit like you were saying about the guaranteed income, we're just starting a project of testing what we call citizenship building in Housing First programs, because people were saying, I really like my house, but the days are long, I don't have things to do, I want to do stuff, but I can't afford anything. So we're trying to bring in a kind of program that would layer with Housing First, that would work with people so that they could pursue activities in the community. I mean, it could be recreational, it could be arts or cultural, it could be educational, but we realize we've got to have some money to be able to do that, to make it accessible to them. So anyhow, I'm digressing. Sorry.
No, you're right up in where I sort of am at too, because with the CKL as well. They need the choice. Like, don't put me in an absolutely. Art program if I don't like art.
No. It's got to be driven by people's preferences.
Yeah, exactly. And something that they want to do that they feel as though they can excel at. For the positive feedback.